Hello everyone, I am Dr. Mahalakshmi, educator, forensic medicine and toxicology. In this video, we are going to see forensic psychiatry. Forensic psychiatry forms an interesting part in medico-legal aspect. This is very interesting and also very important in practical aspect. So what is psychiatry? It deals with the diagnosis and treatment of mental diseases. So this is basically a rough definition of psychiatry. And forensic psychiatry, what is the definition of forensic psychiatry? Like how we did definition for forensic entomology, forensic pathology, everything, it is the same. It is application of psychiatry knowledge in administration of law and justice. So this is basically the definition. So like everything, like forensic psychiatry, forensic microbiology, forensic pathology, if they ask you everything, it is the same. Like it is the application of that knowledge in administration of law and justice. This is the basic definition of all these. And in forensic psychiatry, we will be reading about certain terms and we'll have a few terms here. So first is affect. So what do we mean by affect here is it is the mood, like the feeling of elation, the feeling of fear, sadness, everything, all the mood, all the feeling, it is called as affect. And when we say affective disorder, we call it as mood disorder. So what are the mood disorder that we usually see? You have the bipolar, mania, depression. So all the disorders that affects the mood, we call it as affective disorder. Then up next what we have is psychosis. So this psychosis, it is a neuropsychiatric disorder. And there will be complete separation from the reality. Like they will be completely separate from the reality. They will not know what is real, what is wrong, everything. There will be complete separation from the real world. And they will have their own feelings, they will have their own judgment, they will have their own perception and senses, everything. So this is a psychosis. And next we have confabulation and amnesia. So amnesia is loss of memory. And confabulation is because of amnesia, due to some neuropathological conditions, what will happen is that they will make up stories. They will make up stories to fill that gap. So there will be amnesia, that there will be loss of memory, and to match that loss of memory, what they will do is they will come up with certain stories, they will come up with certain lies to cover up that. So that is confabulation. And it is a pathological disorder. And next what we have is empathy and fugue. So empathy is ability to feel another one's feeling. Like you can understand what they are feeling, how they are feeling, you will be able to sense it by yourself. That is empathy. And fugue is you will become another one. You will become entirely different one. Like you will forget your own identity. Like there will be forgetting identity. They will forget their identity and they will think that they are someone else. They will assume new name, they will assume new work, everything, and they will lead a separate life. And all these are all psychiatric disorder. They have some pathology inside. So everything is a psychiatric disorder, and these are the certain important things that will be asked, like what is amnesia, what is confabulation, what is a fugue stage, what is empathy, like that. So empathy, like it is the ability to feel another one's feeling, and this is usually absent in psychopath. So the psychopath, they won't be able to feel that empathy or sympathy, especially this empathy. They won't be able to feel what the other people will be feeling. So their elation, their sadness, everything they will not be able to perceive. So that absence it will be seen in psychopath. So these are the common terms that we will be seeing in forensic psychiatry. And why we see this forensic psychiatry is that in the concept of law, we have something known as mens rea and actus rea. So mens rea means guilty mind, and actus rea means guilty act. So according to our law, what is that? There has to be both, like mens and actus rea. Only if both are present, we call it a crime. Like they are actually done the crime. Like they have to have this guilty mind along with this guilty act. Only after these two are present, if we prove that these two are present, then we can say that okay, they have committed crime and they are responsible for that crime, like that it is in the law. Unless we prove that they don't have guilty mind, only guilty act was done, then it will be said they are not criminally responsible. So to understand whether they actually had this guilty mind or not, that is what the whole aspect of forensic psychiatry is about. So what will happen? Like people, they will commit some kind of crime. They will commit something civil or criminal, some sort of crime they will commit. And what they will do, they will come and find that I have some sort of mental illness. So I don't know what I was doing. I did not have that guilty mind. I like impulsively did something like that. They will come and give history of some mental illness and they will claim that I am not criminally responsible. So you have to acquittal, you have to give acquittal, or they have to like reduce the punishment, like that they will come and claim. So in order to identify whether they truly had that mental illness or not, whether they truly had that guilty mind or not, that is what our true motive is. So that is why we are doing this forensic psychiatry. How the criminal responsibility is weighing in. They are actually criminally responsible or not. That is what we are going to see completely in this. So it is to assess the criminal responsibility of a person. That is the whole aspect. That is the main motive why we study this forensic psychiatry. Now, there are certain important conditions in psychiatry we have to know. First is the delirium. So delirium, it is an organic disorder. Like there has to be some sort of neuropathology. There will be some neuropathology and it is a neuropsychiatric manifestation. There has to be some sort of organic defect, some sort of electrolyte imbalance or some sort of injury, trauma or anything. Something has to be there organically, and then only you will be getting this delirium. So this state of delirium is something that happens very, very acutely. This will come all of a sudden and it will fluctuate in course. Like sometimes they will be okay and sometimes they will be delirium. So there will be this clouding of consciousness. Like they will not be having any consciousness. Like they will be delirium. They will be disoriented. They will not know what is happening. And this will be lot fluctuation. Like in the morning they will be okay, and as the time goes on they will become delirium. Like that there will be these delirium fluctuating course will be seen. So it will be acute in nature and it will be fluctuating in course, and there will be severe attentional deficit. They will not give attention to anything and they will have reduced awareness of environment, and there will be waxing and waning. We call it as sundowning. Like initially they will be normal in the morning, and as the sun goes down they will also become worse. Like that is why it is known as sundowning. So all these things will be present. They will be there will be clouding of consciousness which happens acutely, and there will be waxing and waning, and they will be completely unaware of what is happening in the environment. All these are features of delirium. And what is the medico-legal importance of this delirium is that they are not responsible. They are not criminally responsible for any crime that they do during this period. Not criminally responsible for their act. When they are deliriant, if they commit some crime, then according to the law, they are not criminally responsible. Because of their mental unsoundness they did this act, so they will not be held criminally responsible. And this delirium, it is a very important thing that we come across, and it is very most common. And sometimes they turn very violent and they may like harm, or sometimes they may kill somebody. And this delirium, this is most commonly seen in lot of substance abuses like cocaine, cannabis. All these cases you will be getting to see this delirium, and they most commonly commit crime during the delirium stage, and we like normally don't hold them criminally responsible for their crime. So this is about delirium. Next what we have is delusion, hallucination and illusion. So first, what is delusion? So delusion is a false belief. So first thing, it is a false belief and it will persist even after proven otherwise. Like someone will come and prove to you that it is a false belief, but even after that you will be persisting on to that false belief, and this is uncommon amongst people of same socio-economic status. So what we mean by that is that delusion, it is a false belief. We'll take one example. Like people will think we have to give milk to the snake, and the snake, it will drink the milk, and we will be blessed by the snake god, and we won't be ever get affected by the snake god. So this is a false belief, and there are a lot of scientific proofs that saying that snake, they don't drink milk actually. Like that, there are a lot of scientific proofs. But even after that, people will not believe. They will hold on to the false belief that we must feed milk to the snake, right? So it is a false belief, and even after the scientific proofs, we are still holding on to the belief, but it will not count as a delusion. Why? Because it is very common among certain group of people, like their socio-economic status, people with the same sort of mindset. It will be common to them. Like lot of people will hold the belief that it is a god and we have to offer milk, like that. So it is a false belief. They are still believing even after proven to be wrong, but it is not called a delusion because it is common for their level of understanding. So this is a delusion criteria. Only if all three are fulfilled, then we call it as a delusion. So there are a lot of types of delusion that we will be seeing later, but the one important thing we have to remember is this third point. Like it has to be very uncommon to the people who belonging to the same socio-economic status. That is the main thing that had to be fulfilled in this delusion. Clear? So this is delusion. It is a false belief. Now what we have is hallucination. So hallucination is false perception of senses without stimuli. So what happens is that you will be feeling some perception, like you will perceive something, like some hearing or seeing, something touching, like that you will have some sense perseverance, but what will happen is that there will not be any stimuli in actual. This is hallucination. But if the stimuli is there, like you get false perception with stimuli, we call it as illusion. So the typical example is, if someone mistake a rope for a snake, it is illusion. Clear? So rope seen as a snake, this is illusion. But if there is no rope, if there is nothing, but still they see snake with nothing, it is hallucination. Like there has to be some sort of stimuli and you will perceive that stimuli. Like you had the rope, there was a stimuli and you perceived wrongly that rope to be snake. So there was a stimuli and there was wrong perception. We call it as illusion. There was nothing, but still you saw a snake. So there was no stimuli and you saw something wrong. So no stimuli and wrong perception, we call it as hallucination. And This illusion and hallucination, it is very, very important. Delusion, completely different. It is a false belief. But hallucination and illusion, you will have the false perception of sense. If there is stimuli, we call it as illusion. If there is no stimuli, we call it as hallucination. So, do you clearly understand the difference between these three? Delusion, illusion, hallucination. They may sound same, but they are completely different. Clear? So, it is false belief and these two are false perception. And based upon stimuli there or not, we divide them into illusion and hallucination. Now, we are going to see about the types of delusion, and these delusion type is very, very important. They will simply ask you to write the name of the delusion. So, these types are very, very important. So, first is delusion of grandeur. This means they have this self-inflated sense of greatness. Example, pauper feels like a billionaire. So, they are actually very, very poor. They are they are mostly begging for each and every day life, but they will feel like I am the most most billionaire in the world, I am the most rich person in the world. Like that, they will have this false belief. So, this is delusion of grandeur. They might be actually poor in some sort of skill. They might be actually poor in writing or something, but they will think that I am the best-selling author in the whole world. Like that, they will have the self-inflated false belief of greatness. That is delusion of grandeur. Like they will feel like they are someone very, very grand. So, you can remember. So, false sense of greatness, that is delusion of grandeur. Clear? Next, what we have is delusion of persecution. It is also known as paranoia. So, here what happens is that they will feel that someone is trying to kill them. Someone is trying to kill or harm them. This is persecution. This is also known as sense of paranoia. They will think that like nobody will do anything. They will simply doing their own work, but they will think that he is conspiring to kill me. They want to kill me. Something would have happened, but they will say this was done to kill me. Like that, they will have this paranoid behavior. This is persecution. So, this is next type of delusion. And what we have is delusion of reference. So, here what happens is that they will think that everyone is talking about them. Everyone. Like something will happen in the TV, there will be some news coming in the radio. They will think they are talking about me. Everyone is talking about me. They are referring to me. Like they may just go about their way and people will think they are gossiping about me. Like that, they will always like self-centered. They think everyone is talking about me. Everyone is saying something about me. They are something bad about me. Like that, they will have that false belief. So, this is delusion of reference. So, everyone is referring to him. Like that, there will be belief. This is delusion of reference. So, it is different from persecution, where they think everyone is conspiring to kill them. So, persecution is paranoid behavior. Reference is they will think everyone is simply talking about him. So, this is another type of delusion. Next, what we have is influence. It is also known as Kandinsky syndrome. So, what influence is that? They will think I am being influenced by others. Others are doing or making me do something. Like they will go and they will just kill somebody and they will say I did not kill them. They made me kill him. Like certain people, they came and they made me kill this person. Like that, they will say. So, this is like he is influenced by some other force. Like that, he will say. Like this is not my act. This is an act of God. Like that, they will do something. So, this is influence. It is also known as Kandinsky syndrome. It is another name. So, this is delusion of influence. Next, what we have is Othello syndrome. So, Othello syndrome is also known as morbid jealousy syndrome. So, here what will happen is that actual truth is that wife is fidel. that they are actually faithful and they are not cheating on him. But the husband, he will think that the wife is actually infidel, like that he will think himself, okay. So the husband falsely believes that wife is cheating. So this is known as morbid jealousy. They will be jealous. They will themselves think that the wife is cheating on him. And sometimes what they will do, because of this intense reaction, they will go and kill some other person saying that he is having an affair with my wife. Like that they will do some crime. So this is known as Othello syndrome. Why? Because this Othello, it is a character in Shakespeare play. He thought that his wife is cheating on him and he went on to kill the other guy, stating that he is having an affair with the wife, and he killed himself. So like this is, it just gave the name. Okay, Othello, he was doing that act. So for this delusion, they gave his name. So Othello syndrome is morbid jealousy. They will think that it is usually this context only. The husband or the wife, they will think the spouse is being unfaithful and they will try to harm the wife or the other guy. So this is how the Othello syndrome works. But here, if the wife is actually infidel, then this is not delusion. So only if the wife is faithful, but the husband still thinks that she is unfaithful, then only we call it as Othello syndrome. So this is another type of delusion. Next, what we have is nihilistic delusion or Cotard syndrome. So here what will happen is that they will think they themselves not exist. They will think that like nothing is real in this world. Even I am not real. I am nothing. Nobody is anything. Like that they will think that they are like dead. Everybody is dead. There is no life in the world. Like they will not care for everything. There will be complete apathy. Like even if you go and harm them, they will not react. So this is known as nihilistic attitude or Cotard syndrome. So this is nihilistic attitude or Cotard syndrome. And next type of delusion is hypochondriac delusion. So this is very, very common. Like they are actually healthy. They are actually healthy, but they think they are unhealthy. They are unhealthy. So this is hypochondriac. So they will go and feign some illness, especially something very, very morbid. So they will think that I am very, very unhealthy and I am going to die and I have something wrong in my body. Like that they will go and believe. So this is the hypochondriac delusion. They are actually healthy, but they keep on thinking that something is wrong with them. So this is hypochondriac delusion. Next, erotomania. So erotomania is also known as de-Clermont syndrome. Here what will happen is that they will think that person of higher status. So a person of higher status is in love with them. So this is what they will think. Like normally there will not be any sort of contact between these two people, especially like they will think someone of higher status, like some big actor or actress, they will say that they are madly in love with me and we are in a relationship. Like that they will think themselves. So sometimes what they will do, they will go and stalk them and they will send them lot of messages or unwanted things they will be sending. So this is erotomania, also known as de-Clermont syndrome. So what happens here is that this usually happens with people of no contact. Someone in very higher status, they will falsely believe that they both are in love. So this is erotomania, otherwise known as de-Clermont syndrome. So these are the usual type of delusions that we usually see in the cases. And there are few other delusion which deals with the misidentification. So here what happens is that they will misidentify the persons. Like what will happen, familiar person, they will think somebody as a stranger. Some stranger, they will consider them to be their family members. So what happens is that we have two type of this misidentification syndrome. One is Capgras, another is Fregoli. So Fregoli, it is also known as delusion of double. So you just remember one thing and forget the other, because these two are simply opposite of each other. If you try to remember both, you will eventually confuse. So just try to remember this Fregoli syndrome. So Fregoli is F, right? So just remember F for family. Here what they will think is that the family member is replaced by stranger. This is what their belief would be. So what will happen is that the person with the delusion, they will look at their mother or wife, somebody, some family member they will be looking at. Let's say wife. So he will look at the wife and he will say, you are not my wife, you are somebody else, you are looking like my wife but you are not my wife. Like that they will complain. So they will say the familiar person is replaced by some stranger. This is Fregoli. F for F. Just remember F is family, familiar, replaced by stranger. So this is also known as delusion of double. And capgrasses, what will happen? They will think that some stranger is following him. It can be family member also, like family member, like somebody is keep on following him by changing appearance, by changing their appearance. Like one person, he keeps on changing his appearance and he is following him everywhere. Like that they will think. So this is capgras. So you just remember Fregoli and you can say like opposite of this is capgras. So familiar person replaced by a stranger, they will say it is Fregoli. And for a person, he is keep on changing his appearance and following him everywhere is Capgras syndrome. So these two are delusion of misidentification. And up next what we have is impulse. So impulse is, it is a different entity. So in impulse they will have this irresistible desire to do something. They will not be able to control themselves. They will have this irresistible urge, irresistible desire to do something. It can be a crime also. So few example is this: dipsomania, kleptomania, trichotillomania. So they will have the urge to steal. They will have the urge to pull hair. Like they will have the urge to mutilate something. They will have some sort of urge and they will try to do that. They will not have any sort of control over their activity and they will eventually do it. So it is known as impulse. And medico-legally, what is the importance is that they are criminally responsible. They are criminally responsible because they know what they are doing is wrong, but still they are doing it, right? So they are criminally responsible. If they don't have the knowledge that what they are doing is wrong, then only we can say that they are not criminally responsible. But here they know stealing is a crime, but still they are doing this. So we call them criminally responsible for their act. So this is the medico-legal significance of this impulse. Now the remaining thing here, delusion. If somebody does something under delusion, they are not criminally responsible. And these are the types of delusion. And hallucination, they are not criminally responsible. And illusion, also they are not criminally responsible if they don't know what they are doing. The nature of the act, if they are not understanding, then it is not criminally responsible. So these are the usual psychiatric disorders that we deal with in dealing with the crimes. So delusion is a false belief. Hallucination is a false perception without stimuli. Illusion is false perception with stimuli. And impulse is they will do something even though they know it is wrong, but they will have the urge to do it and they won't be able to control. So this is the different types of disorders that we see in case of forensic psychiatry. Now we are going to see about the criminal responsibility. What are the rules and how law actually decides somebody is criminally responsible or not. This is what we are going to see this. This is the crux of the forensic psychiatry. This is how the law decides whether someone is criminally responsible or not. So initially we had something known as McNaughton's rule. So this is McNaughton's rule. So what happened was that there was an incident in British. There was this one guy known as McNaughton. Like he was a very simple man. He was just doing about his life. What happened was that he had this delusion of persecution that the Tory party, like this was the ruling party in British at that time. So that party people, they are conspiring to kill him and they are trying to kill him. Like that he had this delusion. So what he did was, he went to the capital and he tried to kill the Tory Prime Minister. But he could not kill the Prime Minister, but he killed his personal secretary. So he killed somebody. So what happened? He was arrested, and when they got to inquire him, when they got to like start the investigation, they got to know that he was actually delusional, that he was having a mental disorder. They found out that. Now the court decided that because of the mental disorder only he committed that crime, so he is not criminally responsible for that. Like that they gave the orders and they released him. So this created lot of questioning. So they came up with rule known as Naughten rule, which they used afterwards to decide whether a person is actually criminally responsible or not. Especially mentally insane persons, they tried to use this rule to find out they were criminally responsible or not. So according to this rule, they are not responsible. They are not legally criminally responsible if what they did, because like they did some crime, right? If that act is due to defect of reason from disease of mind. Like he did that crime, he killed somebody because he had the delusion. So delusion is a defect of mind, right? So because of that defect of mind, he did that criminal act and he did not know nature and quality of the act. So he did not know that what he actually doing is a crime. So according to him, he was just trying to prevent himself from being assassinated. He was delusional that they are trying to assassinate him. So he didn't think that going to killing him is a crime. He simply thought, I am protecting myself, I am defending myself. That would be his idea, right? So if he did not know the nature of his act and what he was doing was wrong, like if he don't know that, if he don't have that ideology, that capacity to understand his act and the nature of his act, whether it is right or wrong, what he is doing is right or wrong, if he don't have the capacity to analyze, then he is not responsible. Like he has to have some mental disorder, and that disorder must prevent him from understanding the nature of the act. If all these criteria are fulfilled, then he is not criminally responsible. Like that they came up with this Naughten's rule. So this was the first rule they came up with. But what happened was that people started to manipulate the Naughten rule. So what they did was, they came up with this Durham's rule, also known as product rule. Here what they said was, like he may commit a crime, but that crime has to be the product of the mental disorder. Okay, he, like if that unlawful act is product of the mental disease. Like what happened, like somebody, they will come and steal something and they will say like, I have this psychiatric disorder, I had this delusion, or I had this depression, bipolar mania, something, and I committed this criminal act because I didn't know that it was wrong. Like that they will come and feign for insanity and they will try to escape from the law. So what they did was, they came up with this rule stating that like their mental disorder, like if he is suffering from delusion, then he have to do something from the delusion. Like here he had that persecution delusion, right? So he killed him. So he thought they are trying to kill me, I killed him. But here what they did, like he had some, let's say he had some Othello syndrome. Like he was thinking that the wife is unfaithful, and then he went on to steal some car. So there is something, like nothing relating between these two, right? Nothing is not there. So these kind of act they prevented by saying that that act, criminal act, was not product of his disorder. So he is actually responsible criminally. Like that they came up with this Durham's rule. Clear? So Naughten rule said that they have to have some insanity, like disorder, which prevents them from knowing whether the act is right or wrong. That is Naughten's rule. So people started manipulating it. So they came up with this Durham rule, where they said that act has to be the product of the mental disorder. Like that they said. But what happened was that they were not established, like they were not able to establish whether actually what was the disorder and whether that product is the like the act was the product of the disorder or not. They had a lot of complications. So they came up with another rule known as Curran's rule. So here what they said was, like, as a result of mental disease, they lacked capacity to conform his conduct to the requirement of the law. Matlab, like what they said was, he has some mental disorder and that mental disorder prevented him from being acted responsibly. Like he did something wrong. But he could have not done that if he had known that that is wrong. Like that they came up with this current rule. So you just remember there will be lot of C's: conduct, capacity, conform, everything. Like he would have stopped that act if he had a normal sanity, but he was insane, so he could not conform his conduct. Conform means like they will not able to control their act. Conduct is act. They were not able to control the act because of the insanity. So like that they came up with this Curran's rule. But all the rule, it had lot of loopholes and people were manipulating a lot. So what they did was, in our constitution, like BNS or previously known as IPC, they came up with these sections. They said if a person is less than 7 years of age, they are not responsible. They are not criminally responsible. So they said that. And this is section 20 of BNS. These sections, they may be asked in the Viva, it is important. So if they are less than 7 years of age, then they are not criminally responsible. And if they are between 7 to 12 years of age and they are not able to understand the nature of the act, then they are not criminally responsible. So less than 7, no criteria, nothing. They are simply held not responsible. And if they are between 7 to 12, if someone could prove that they know what they were actually doing, then they are criminally responsible. And if we can prove that they don't know anything and they did it very wrongly, very mistaken act was done like that, if we could prove, then they are not criminally responsible. Up next, what we are seeing is criminal responsibility of mentally ill. And here we use this Naughten's rule only. And this is dealt in section 22 of BNS. So, how a mentally ill person, how an insane person is held criminally responsible. We definitely use this Naughten rule only and it is dealt in section 22 of BNS. Next is intoxicated against will. If someone is intoxicated against their will, if someone is mixing some sort of drug and they are drinking it and they are doing some crime, then they are not criminally responsible. But if that intoxication is voluntary, they voluntarily intoxicate themselves and they commit some crime, then they are criminally responsible. It is dealt in section 22 and 24 of BNS. So 22 is insane person, whether they are mentally insane and whether they are criminally responsible or not. That is 22. 23, involuntary intoxication, intoxication against will. 24 is voluntary intoxication. And next is this section 27, and this deals with consent on behalf of minors and mentally unsound. Someone who is not able to understand and someone who is not able to give a consent, there we have to take consent from the guardian. So their consent is not valid. Only guardian can give consent, can give valid consent. So this is dealt in section 27 of BNS. And if it is an emergency life-saving procedure, then we don't need consent. That is dealt in section 30 of BNS. So this sections, it is very important and you have to understand this. Like if they are intoxicated against will, then they are not criminally responsible. Voluntary intoxication, they are criminally responsible. So these are the BNS sections that deals with criminal responsibility and mental insanity. So next is lucid interval. So this lucid interval is actually what happens is that sometimes in certain disorders there will be period of insanity and in between there will be sane period and again there will be a period of insanity. So an episode of sanity between two period of insanity, we call this as lucid interval. right? So this period of sanity between two episodes of insanity, we call it as lucid interval, and they are criminally responsible. Whatever crime they commit during this lucid interval, they are criminally responsible. And whatever contract, consent, whatever they do during this period, they are considered valid. So this lucid interval is very important. There will be period of insanity, and in between these two period of insanity, there will be a sane period, and that interval we call it as lucid interval. But it is hard to prove that interval. So these are the criminal responsibility of a mentally insane person. And what are the civil responsibility? So civil responsibility means like whether they will be able to give witness or not. Like if a person is considered insane, they cannot give witness. Like they cannot be considered as a valid witness. So they have to be sane. Then only they will be considered valid. Same for consent. Only if the person is considered to have the capacity to understand what is happening, then only they will be considered valid. So this consent also they had to be sane. And contract, whatever contract they are getting into during that insane period, during that mental disorder period, it is considered invalid. And they cannot take government jobs or services if they are mentally unsound. And inheritance, they can inherit property even if they are unsound. But usually there will be one guardian appointed on what to do and all. So they can inherit the property, but guardian will be appointed on how to manage the properties and all. So witness, they cannot be a valid witness, they cannot give a valid consent, and they cannot enter into a valid contract, and they can also not enter into a government service. But inheritance, they can have the property inherited to them, but there will be some guardian who will be taking after that property. So this is the civil responsibility of mentally insane. And restraint of mentally ill. So what will happen is that sometimes like we have to admit these mentally ill patients to some hospital, psychiatric institute we have to admit. What are the procedures that is related to that admission we will see. First is immediate restraint. So what will happen is that the police, they will go and they will take the person in custody and they will keep them with them in the like some sort of room or something, not in the jail. They will keep them in a secure place. So this is immediate restraint, and this is done only if they are harmful to them or others. This is usually done only if they are very, very harmful and uncontrollable. Whether they will harm themselves or they will harm others. Only under that condition, we will do this immediate restraint, and it is done with consent. With consent of relative or family. And they can keep them maximum for 24 hours in a secure place where they will not be considered harmful to anyone, and only till that period. If they become clear, if they become sane, then we have to release them. Only during that period we can hold them. And what happens is that like this immediate restraint, you cannot like arrest them, like you cannot like tie them up, shackle them up, those kind of harsh treatment you cannot do. You could simply just put them in a room and lock it. You cannot do anything else apart from that. And this is not an arrest. This is simply restraining them from harming themselves or others. So this can be done only with the consent of the relative. If they are not giving consent, then you have to approach the court for consent. This is about immediate restraint. Next is admission in the psychiatric hospital. So when we are admitting, it may be like voluntary. They themselves will think that something is wrong with them, and they will come to you and they will ask to be admitted in the ward. So you have to examine. Examination by doctor, and if they are considered to be suffering from any mental disorder, then they will be admitted. This is voluntary basis. Someone will themselves will come and get admitted. And If they are brought by some family or relative, they are not in the situation to come by themselves, what we have to do is, we can like maximum of 90 days can be held. Only up to 90 days we can keep somebody in the mental institute, and we have to get certificate from 2 doctors. 2 doctors should certify to keep them in the mental institute. And the reception order, it has to be like, if a relative is coming and saying that somebody is like mentally insane and we need to be like admit them to the hospital, like that they are coming and saying, they have to get certificate from 2 doctors. If they don't have doctor certificate, then the government doctors, they will like, where the institution is there, that government doctor, they will examine the patient, and if they like find themselves like there is need for admission, then they will admit the patient, and they can maximum held up to 90 days. After that, they have to take another examination and get certified again to be kept for further period. So this is about somebody else coming and getting the admission for institution. And what is reception order is that, sometimes what will happen, people will be wandering around, there will be nobody, or sometimes even the relatives, they will say that we need to put them in the psychiatric hospital, like that some people would be there. In that situation, what will happen is that the police, they will go and tell the magistrate. So the magistrate will issue order to admit in hospital. So that order is known as reception order. Like, they will get the grievances, they will hear the grievances by the family, police or public, and they will consider whether to be admitted or not. So what the justice will do, what the magistrate will do is that they will ask for opinion from 2 doctors, 2 government doctors, and if it is deemed to be fit, and they will admit. So that order by the magistrate is known as reception order. So for admission in psychiatric hospital, it can be done voluntarily by the patient themselves or by the relative, and maximum 90 days only we can hold them, and we have to get the reception order. So this is how the responsibility and the admission into the hospital works. Now what happens is that sometimes people, they will feign insanity. Just to escape from the law, they will say that I am having some disorder, like that they will falsely act. So to control that, they have like some differentiation. They will observe them, they will put them in a room and they will observe their activities. So what are the differences between this true insanity and feigned insanity, we will see. So first is true insanity. It will come very gradual, but feigned insanity, it will come all of a sudden. And motive, there will be absent, like there will not be any history of violence, no cases will be going against them, something like that will be absent. But here he will be having some history, he has committed some crime, he have like something coming up. Because of that, he will be coming and trying to act like a mentally insane person. So this motive will be there. And predisposing factor, there has to be something like sudden grief, loss or monetary loss, something adverse should have been there. But here in the feigned insanity, there will not be any predisposing factor, only this crime, something would have been, history would have been there. And signs and symptoms, it will be uniform and it will be present all the time, whether they are observed or not, they will be exhibiting all the symptoms. But here it will be present only when being observed. Like if you put them in a room and if you watch them without knowing, there they will be very, very normal. And if you go in front of them, they will suddenly act like they are mentally insane. So this sign and symptom will be seen. And facial expression, it will be very peculiar and vacant look. There won't be any expression, it will be very, very vacant. But in case of feigned insanity, there will be like exaggerated. They will exaggerate the expression. They will become so aggressive. They will do everything exaggerated. And insomnia, it is like mainly present. Like usually, this is the most striking change. Like there will be insomnia in the true insanity, but in feigned insanity, it will not be there. And exertion, like fatigue, hunger, all sort of exertion they can stand. But like they will not feel anything. There will be simply apathy. But this feigned insanity, they cannot stand any sort of exertion. They will break down after few days. And habits, it will be very dirty. They will be having like unkept hair unkept nails, all their clothing, everything will be very dirty. But here it is not like that, they will be very, very meticulous. And skin and lip, it will be dry and harsh. Here it will not be like that. And reception to frequent examination, he doesn't mind. But these people, they will fear that something will happen and they will identify, so they will refuse usually. So they will resent repeated examination. So these are the common differences between a true insanity and a false insanity. This can be asked as a 2 mark or something. So next is testamentary capacity. So testamentary capacity is ability to give a valid will. And this testamentary capacity, whether they are having compos mentis, they are mentally eligible, they are mentally having the ability to write a will or not. That is the testamentary capacity. And will is considered very valid if it is written, signed in front of witnesses, and if they are of sound mind. To say something as a valid will, it should be properly written and signed by the one who is giving the will, and it should be signed in front of the witness, and there has to be a certificate from the doctor that the person is mentally sound. Then only it is considered as a valid will, and all these completes the testamentary capacity. If something is lacking, then they will say he is not in a testamentary capacity. If all are fine only, they will say they are having testamentary capacity. So this is about will, and there is something known as holographic will. So this holographic will is written and signed by the person himself. What happens, like they will usually tell and someone else will write and they will finally sign. This is how will are done. But sometimes what they will do is they themselves will write and they will sign. So this is holographic will. They will write it themselves and they will sign. Like all the verbal wills, it is not considered. Only a written will is considered valid. And if they write it themselves, it is known as holographic will. And to say something as a valid will, like I already told, it should be written, not verbal. And there has to be witness. And there has to be a doctor certifying sound mind. All these should be there, and they should be more than 18 years of age. They should be more than 18 years of age, and they should not be suffering from any disorder like aphasia or alexia, like anything that will affect the testamentary capacity. So initially a physical examination would be done, whether they will be able to write it, they will be able to express it properly or not, whether they have any disorder that will prevent them from writing properly, that will prevent their understanding and expression. Whether it is there or not, it will be physically tested by the doctor. Then they will do intelligence testing, whether they are properly conscious and they are oriented, the memory is good or not, whether they are able to identify their relative properly, and they are able to differentiate everything. All these intelligence will be tested. If everything is considered very, very fine, then only the doctor will say like they are mentally sound to give this will. Then only they will start giving a valid will. And there is something known as nuncupative will. So nuncupative will is a verbal will given on deathbed. So someone will be in their deathbed in an extreme situation, so that time they will give a will verbally, and that is known as nuncupative will, and this is considered valid only if they die. If they don't die, then the will not be considered valid and they can create another valid will. So this is nuncupative will. Holographic will, when they write it themselves and sign themselves. Nuncupative will, it is a verbal will given at the dying stage. In the deathbed, they will give, like a dying declaration, they will give some sort of will. And it is considered valid only if they die. If they become alive, then they can give another will which will be considered valid. So these are the important aspect of giving a will. So next is this somnambulism. So somnambulism is a sleep disorder, also known as sleepwalking. And it usually happens in stage 3 of sleep. So what they will do, they will be sleeping, they will not be awake. Not awaken, but perform all activity. And they will not remember anything. They will completely be sleeping. They will be sleeping, but still they will be performing, they will be walking, they will be cooking, whatever activity they normally do when they are awake, they will do everything in their sleeping position and everything they will do. And medico-legal importance is that they are not criminally responsible, because they are not in their consciousness, right? So they are not criminally responsible for their act done during this episode. So this is somnambulism. Next is somnolentia. So here this is known as sleep drunkenness. So what happens here is that actually they are in the semi-awakened stage, like at the time of. So what they will happen, like at the time of sleeping, they will become suddenly aroused and they will commit some act or crime. So this is known as sleep drunkenness. This is not like sleepwalking, but this is sleep drunkenness. They will be in a hazy stage and they will commit something. Here also, they are not criminally responsible. So both are sleep disorders and they are not criminally held responsible for any act that they commit during that period. So these are the forensic psychiatry part. Next, what we are going to see is test for lie detection. So initially what happened was that they were using all sort of tests to find out whether the accused is lying or not. But like there are a lot of human right activity came up and they said like there has to be some sort of criteria. You have to have some rules to conduct these lie detection tests. You cannot force someone into lie detection test like that. They came up with lot of things. So what happens is that nowadays to conduct a lie detection test, consent of victim is must. If not given, considered torture. So you have to explain to them that we are going to do this lie detection test, and only after getting consent then you can do these tests. Otherwise you have to get permission from the court, and if they refuse to give consent and even after that you proceed with this lie detection test, it can be considered as a form of torture. So what are the lie detection tests usually done is brain fingerprinting, then lie detector or polygraph, then you have narco analysis or truth serum. So these are the common lie detection tests that we usually do. So first is this brain mapping or murmur or brain fingerprinting. So what happens here is that you will use EEG. You will measure the electrical activity of the brain and you will have event related potential. Event related potential. And these waves are known as P300 waves. So what we usually do is This is the test. So you will ask 3 questions. So first question, you will ask something that they are expected to know. Then you will ask something that is not expected to be known to that guy. So first you will ask him, what is your name? So it's something that should be known to him, very common thing you will ask him. Then you will ask something that must not be known to him, like you will ask like who's the person standing outside the door, like something that should not be known to him. You should ask that kind of question. Now again, the third question what you will do is, you will ask a question which should be known only to the perpetrator. Like if you are suspecting somebody of a crime, somebody of a murder, you will say an information that will be known only to the murderer, not everyone else. So you will say that question. Now what you will do is, you will see all the potential, all the waves you will see. So now you have this. So red is, they are expected to know. Then you have green, not known. Then you have these blue, known only to murderer. So what will happen if that green line and this blue line, they are coming together, means both the information is not known to that guy, so he is probably not guilty. And if this red line and the blue line is coming together, means both the information are something known to that guy, so he is probably guilty. Like that, the wave, how the wave is coming for a known information, how the wave is coming for an unknown information, and how the wave is coming to the information that would be known only to the murderer. You will correlate all 3 waves and you will have a probable idea. So this is how this brain fingerprinting or brain mapping is done. It is also known as murmur. So this is one important lie detection technique. Next is polygraph, or famously known as lie detector. So this is how they measure. So what they will usually do is, they will measure heart rate, respiratory rate, skin conduction and BP. So all these 4 are checked. So what they will do is, like the brain mapping, what they will do is, they will measure these 4 things. First they will ask them a truth. They will ask you like, your name is this, right? Like something truth they will tell them. So they will respond, like they will measure their response. So like that they will measure the response, and they will say something that is false. So they will have these controls. So this is truth, this is false. So first they will establish a control. Now they will ask the actual question, and now they will see the response. If it is going to this line, truth control line, then he is probably saying the truth. If that response is going to this line, then he is probably saying a false information. So that is how they establish a control, and they will question the suspect and they will come to a conclusion. So the 4 component that we test here is important. It is heart rate, respiratory rate, skin conduction, that is sweating, and blood pressure. So these are the things that we usually do in this polygraph or lie detector test. Next is narco analysis or truth serum. So here is that they say in vine veritas, means in vine there is truth. So the concept behind this is that people will lie only if they have the imagination. So imagination is present, then they will lie. So if there is no imagination, then they will not lie. So what they will do is, they will put them in a semi-sleeping stage. So they will simply sedate them, and they will ask for the truth, and people will say the truth. So this is the motto behind doing this test. And what they usually use is, these are the drugs. So this 4-quincenyl benzylate, it is an anticholinergic. This and scopolamine, all these they use and they will sedate the patient and they will ask questions and they will tell the truth. So this is the first drug, and they will also use this barbiturate and sodium amytal, also known as truth serum. These are barbiturate sedatives, and these are the commonly used drugs in this lie detection truth serum test. So they will give the thing and they will sedate the patient, then they will ask the question. In the sleeping stage, they will give you the answer. So this is how this lie detection test works. So these are the important things in lie detection test we have to know. First is brain mapping, second is the polygraph, the 4 components that we use in polygraph, and finally the narco analysis where we use the truth serum. And the sodium amytal is the most commonly used truth serum. Now, legal validity. Legal validity of these tests. So, according to the Constitution of India, like they are considered not legally valid, only corroborative evidence. Like just because you get a positive result in this lie detection test means he will be considered the murderer and he will be punished like that. No, it is not like that. They have to have some other evidences that will corroborate with this test. Then finally completing everything, they will give him punishment. So just based on this single test, they will not punish him. They have to have some corroborative evidences, other circumstantial evidences pointing toward his crime. Then only he will be punished. So this is the legal validity of this lie detection test. And the most important thing is consent is must. Without consent, it is considered torture. This is the most important part. So only if they give consent, you can do this. You can explain to them, like if you don't consent, then this means you have done something wrong and it will be considered a negative aspect, like that you can explain to them. But even after that, if they are not giving consent, then you cannot go ahead with this test. You cannot simply start doing this test without anybody's consent. You have to get proper court order, then only you can do this test. So these are the important aspects of these forensic psychiatry and lie detection test. So with this we are concluding this video, and thank you for watching.